What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. The new championship skins released yesterday with all the icons and stuff, but the two biggest things were championship Riven coming back and the new championship ZED. These two are about to get real popular over the next few weeks or months. Sadly, there are going to be a lot of really good players with these now and a lot of bad ones as well. I can't really help too much if they're feeding on your team, but there are ways to beat them easier at least. I'm not going to list like every single way or anything like that, but we're going to go over some stuff to keep an eye on and hopefully make this short and sweet so you have tons of ways after this video. I would say sorry to you Riven and ZED mains, but you've been crapping on me for so long. I'm really not sorry. The first thing we're going to look at though is some specific stuff for each champion. For ZED, there are some small things you should probably know to try and at least avoid when you're fighting him. So first thing, like just his kit, right? His passive. Under 50% health, you take bonus damage from him, so don't let him alter you in a rotation if you're that low. So if he like jumps onto you and you're pretty low health already, just be aware that he's going to do more to you, so maybe it's worth flashing away. The next thing with his Q, he does 60% damage if it hits something else first, so stand behind or in minions. His E reduces W cooldown if he hits a champion, so just be aware he's going to be able to get that up a bit quicker. And the ultimate always dashes behind his target. That means if you want to charm, bind, stun, whatever it is, just behind you as it's cast, he will appear there and it's a really guaranteed stun. This is partly the passive stuff, the Q dodging as well, but most Zeds will use their W to get in range to ult you, right? So you save your flash for after he lands. You gain some distance here and he's like already used his gap closers, right? So just don't flash during it. Like it's kind of a panic flash. I know a lot of people do it, but like honestly, like using it after normally makes them miss your Qs and also prevents an auto attack as well. Plus they can't really get onto you, so you can actually turn and kill him. He's kind of weak to ganks as well when his W is on cooldown, or like anything actually. Like you can bait it out, then gank afterwards, or go more aggressive, like push the wave, whatever you want to do. Just remember he can't get on top of you if his W is on cooldown. Bad Zed players are going to use this a lot to push and poke. Now in team fights, like the way you actually want to play against a Zed is to group together and stay close to who you think he wants to kill. His job is to dive, right, and assassinate. That's super hard to do when there are like 4 or 5 people next to each other. It's kind of the same idea for a Rengar actually. Like a Rengar jumping into 5 is not that easy, but if you stand apart in a fight, even if you're kind of close, and he can pick someone on the side and then try and run away. AoE damage is not really going to matter with Zed, so group and just don't be alone. Save any stuns and stuff for when he lands after his ultimate. If he can't attack, the mark doesn't do that much damage. So moving on to Riven, some small stuff that you need to know. The first thing is they can cancel basically any animation with their dash, right? So you don't always have time to see it coming if they just dash into ult or dash into stun. With a Q, the first two are not really that dangerous, to be honest. Like the third though is. So like a flash with the third Q will knock everyone up into stun and you're probably gonna die. What you want to do here is keep track of her as she's using her Qs and don't be near for the third one basically. I guess this is another point that kind of ties into that, but flash is almost always used aggressively with Riven. So you need to like calculate the dash and flash range to stay away from her to actually be safe. Honestly, almost every single Riven engage comes from a third Q flash knock up or E flash stun into combo, and then she's going to try and one burst someone. If you're aware of this and you know it's kind of coming and you stay at that actual distance away from her, so even if she flashes, you still can't get on top of you, then you're always going to be safe and it makes her life a lot harder. With Zed, there is kind of a specific time you want to use your flash, right? After he lands, you then flash away to gain some distance. Flash here is really used for distance again, or to dodge like the stun, knock up, or ultimate damage. Either really should give you enough space to fight her properly. I think like if you flash her stun, then obviously she can't really like murder you in this one combo. Flash her ultimate damage, you should be able to survive. Like her damage is really hard to deal with and it is very high, but it's her crowd control that is actually going to get you killed, and that's what you have to remember. Now team fights are kind of opposite to Zed, so this is where it actually can make a big difference. Like don't stand next to each other and group up. Just don't do it. It's not the same as Zed at all. You already know they're going to try and flash in and knock up or stun, right? Either way, they want to like have a select target to do that on and then only hit that one person. That is the goal. Hitting one person means that the others on the team can react and help. Plus Riven does a lot more AoE damage, so grouping is just a mega bad idea against her. They have basically the same jobs like Zed and Riven, get in and kill carries, but completely different ways to position before a fight breaks out. Like if you're a support, for example, don't stand right next to your AD carry. Like stand a bit to the side so you can see them when Riven jumps in. That is my next point though, actually. Like crowd control and cooldowns play a big part when you're playing against these two. So assassins tend to have really high cooldowns because they blow their load and then that's kind of it for them in fights, right? Riven has her dash, a Q to get into a fight, then not much else really to move around or escape. Zed has his W, his ultimate, but both long cooldowns as well. If you can lock them down after they've used them, it's kind of easy to kite them and kill them when they build full damage anyway. I know like as an AD, your team is probably going to leave you and let you die, so we have some items to go over in a second, but this is like the ideal situation. So say you're playing like a Mumu, okay? Like normally a Mumu would dive in and kind of engage with his ultimate. Well, if Zed jumps in with his ultimate onto your Jinx, as soon as he lands, you ult and you lock him down. You chain chain it with your Q stun, Jinx chompers, and he's going to be screwed. And your Jinx lives and she can mop up the rest of the fight with you. It's really that easy, and kind of the same with Riven as well. Braum is like the ultimate cock block as well for these champions. So like I reckon he's going to get way more popular now, especially if people realize this. So if you apply your passive, even if it's just an auto, right, the AD can stun them and get some distance or kill them. Your passive is broken against divers, assassins. They are their worst nightmares. Just as a side note, if you ever play Braum and you're staying next to your AD carry, please just auto attack the person who's diving, because it makes our life so much easier. Your shield as well can block ZED Qs and kind of prevent doing even more ultimate damage. Your ult timed as well for when Zed lands is basically him screwed again. If you think about it, like as he lands, if you ult, you knock him up, you kind of like chain that into a stun or something, it's wasting time. He can't stack his ult damage up, and it lets your AD get some distance straight away. Any real form of crowd control is the easy way to win versus these champions, but remember, it's more of a game of peel than dive. If you dive in, Zed and Riven are going to try and run past the engage, and they're going to get to the back line while you're distracted with charging at their AD carry, for example. The ideal here is really to at least do like half and half at the very least, like protect and dive at the same time. Really though, like if you're all on the same page, if you were like a 5-man pre-made or something, you kite back, you deal with the diver, then you move forward to the rest of the team. That's like general play stuff wise and stuff like that. But what about the items? Because these can make a big difference actually. So for tanks in the top lane, if you're having a difficult time dealing with a Zed or most likely actually a Riven in your lane, then Ninja Tabby early are really good. Normally you don't really want to buy boots that early into the game because it's just mobility, not really combat stats, but Ninja Tabby is the exception. Against Riven, these are great. Randomins as well should probably be your defensive item of choice for armor. It gives you the most armor, and also is going to kind of help, I guess, with the attack speed slow as well. Thornmail, this is kind of for Zed, not as much Riven, because Riven builds loads of lifesteal and armor pen as well, so it's not really as good against her, but Zed doesn't really build both of those, so it is a really good counter, and he probably won't be able to kill you. For the mid lane, Zhonya's is really good against Zed. Obviously, I'm not really going to spend too much time on that, but the thing I want to mention is it's not that good against Riven. Riven does this like stun into combo and you're dead before it expires, or at least like you're on 10% health anyway, which isn't that good. Like if you're going to survive on 10% health, what's the point, right? QSS is actually better if you're good with it, to be honest. You cleanse the stun and then you flash away afterwards, and you kind of prevent the damage rather than taking it and then just surviving a bit longer. Rylai's isn't that bad if it's good on your champion as well. Like you're naturally kind of tankier, you don't have to really do anything for it either. If you buy Rylai's and like a Zhonya's, for example, you're just never going to die. With AD carries, there are a lot of different defensive items, I think, but there are only actually a few that are really good. So QSS, Mercurial against Riven. As we just said, you cleanse the stun, the heal, the like flash to get away or whatever, and you kite her around. Riven is very cooldown based, remember? So you live through that first rotation and you're probably going to win. And Mercurial is a really good way of doing that because she is just going to stun you and one-shot you. Guardian Angel versus either, but I think it's better versus Zed. So Zed is one job, right? Kill someone with his ultimate and then he's not really as useful anymore after that cooldown is gone. With a Guardian Angel, he's not really doing that job anymore because he doesn't actually kill you. That is perfect for us. And normally I would say 3 offensive items, then Guardian Angel is fine. You have enough damage to still kill stuff and items worth protecting with a Guardian Angel. So instead of just telling you things to buy, I want to tell you something not to buy. So avoid Sterak's Gauge. I know this used to be like the go-to defensive item for AD carries, but it's not as good as you think it is. The shield is 30% of your maximum health. ADs don't build health, so it's not exactly going to be a massive amount. It's actually not too bad, but like it's not a huge amount. The problem is actually later into the game though. Like shield only procs if you take 400 to 1800 damage within 5 seconds. And if we assume you're level 15, so semi-late game, right? Like you're probably about 4 items, I would say 3 offensive ones and this item. That's 1400 damage you need to take for it to proc. You probably have like 1600 or 1800 health total at this point in the game. If you get poked down or you take like any damage before the fight actually starts, if you get lower than that 1400 you need, then your shield is not going to proc at all. You won't have taken enough damage and you will not get anything from it. I know it sounds really weird, but actually like you won't get any shield and it's kind of a wasted item, especially late game. 1800 damage to take is a lot and you basically have to be full health before the fight if you want to get it. There is actually one more, so maybe a Frozen Mallet if you're far ahead and they aren't. If you're good at attack moving as well, you can kite with this, but you have to avoid the damage and get some distance kind of through skill first normally. Really, there are loads of defensive items that you can get. You can get more lifesteal that kind of helps with kiting as well because you heal back up the initial damage, I guess, but really those are going to be the main ones: Guardian Angel, QSS or Mercurial, and maybe a Frozen Mallet. The last thing I want to talk about are just a few champions that naturally stand a better chance against like Zed and Riven. So for Zed, Cho'Gath, the silence and the knock-up is actually so overpowered on him. It's not played very often, but he is so strong. He can get armor in his actual build and it still works, so he's naturally going to get tankier against Zed anyway, but knock-up on top of you as he ults you, right? You silence him, you ult him, and he's dead. It's such a good counter. Kennen is the same kind of idea. He ults you, you ult, and he's screwed because he's going to get stunned stunned and take so much damage. Anivia has a natural Guardian Angel built in, not likely really to have the damage to kill you twice, especially not in team fights. He can't dive in, kill you, egg you, and then like stand there and attack you. It just doesn't work. And he's actually another good one. A lot of people might not agree with me on this one, but like you drop your ult on top of you after Zed ults in, and it's just like an immediate like stop of his damage, and you also can probably one burst him. This is kind of a skill matchup because if you try to ult him first, he's going to ult and dodge your tibbers, and that's really bad for you. But if you play it right, then I think it actually can be a good counter. Same actually with this one, Ari. So it's kind of hard to die against Zed, as Ari you can ult away, you can charm behind you to hit him as he comes in and maybe kill him. Like, it's a real skill matchup though, and it depends who's the better player. So for Riven, this is mostly going to be top lane. Obviously Riven is mostly played up there. Cannon, again, hard to get close to this guy without just dying. Like, stun kind of gives you time to kill her or get away. Pantheon is another one because Riven has a real hard time with dealing with poke. Like, you poke over and over as well. Your block will help if you go for an all-in fight. Kind of the same with Jace. It's not as good, I think. Renekton is kind of one who just out-Rivens Riven, I guess. Like, you win fights early unless you get really far behind, and it's hard for Riven to deal with your burst and the ultimate like bonus health that you get. It makes you even tankier. Aurelia, you stun into burst, duke around, and also get tanky later. Really hard lane for Riven. And Teemo as well. I'm not actually kidding. The blind is your worst nightmare, and it's annoying as balls to get onto and actually kill him. That's basically how I deal with these two in a nutshell. Hopefully it helps you guys. Thank you for watching, and for now I'll leave you with the robots.